Welcome back to another episode of Tale of the Tape, episode 15. We got Chris Howard, um, one of the best runs DMV basketball ever seen with Friendly back in 03-04. We definitely gonna speak on that, speak on this upcoming matchup with Boo Jackson, and a lot more. As soon as we get Chris in here, we're gonna tap him in and get started. When we get him in here, we're gonna tap in and get started. And once again, just appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in each and every week. Coming back for more content. We're working on a lot of things. One of the biggest things we have been working on is Project 6. I know I mentioned that, a lot earlier. Not earlier when a lot of the social distances and quarantine started. But it's something we're working on. We're really proud of. We just want to take our time with it. Something we dropped a few years ago. Lasted about 2 or 3 days. But we definitely still working on it. This time we're trying to perfect it. We don't want it to be something we just drop. And, we don't take our time with it. So Project 6 is definitely still in the works. There go Chris right there. We want to add him, man. Yeah, we're going to get Project 6 going real soon. I promise you that. Chris,
What's going on, big bro?
what it do, man?
Ain't nothing. How are you?
I'm good. How you?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Hey, man. Starting off, just want to say thank you for joining us tonight.
No
Yeah,
problem, man. Appreciate you having me.
of course, of course. And the crazy thing is, I already had somebody FaceTime me and say, you got to ask him about this Boo Jack matchup.
I couldn't hear you. What you said on that?
Somebody already FaceTime me and said, you got to ask Chris about his Boo Jack matchup coming up.
Oh, for sure. We can get into that. We
Hey,
can get
yeah, man.
into that.
I see you definitely still be working out during all this time. You definitely still been getting it in the gym.
Yeah, I got a daughter that's 16, man. So she's kind of in that, getting ready to kind of start deciding what college and things she want to do. So,
Got you.
I try to stay as active as possible and kind of lead by example because I know she's watching.
Yeah, for sure. I seen a lot of those pickups y'all be at. I think RLS Nation posted them. Like you've been
Mm-hmm.
getting in some good bump though.
Yeah. And it's just part of this whole, DMV area, man. You never know who you may run into, who's going to say they trying to see you. So it's a good thing to try to stay as sharp as possible. You know what I mean? At
Yeah,
times, you can catch people at bad times and you may get the best of them, but I try to stay somewhere close to being able to compete at a high
yeah,
level.
yeah. And of course, like again, like I know you like yourself in this Blue Jack matchup, but like describe one on one, like playing one on one. I think a lot of people even like tuning into it, they don't really understand, the difference between one on one out there by yourself outside of having your full teammates out there. What's your mentality like when you going straight up with somebody like that?
Well, first, when I think of one-on-one, you got to determine what type of one-on-one. Are we talking 3 dribbles? Are we talking about your opponent being fast? Are you talking about your opponent having a J? Is it somebody that's playing off the bounce? Is it somebody that's just dangerous out of their triple threat? Me,
Yeah,
myself, when I break down my game, I don't think nobody can stop me from doing what I want to do. I don't care your height, you fast, small, short. You can't stop me from doing what I want to do on a
yeah,
court. You're not going to speed me up. You're not going to, do none of that. And one-on-one is sorry about this. Somebody was calling, but it's
you good.
basically finding out what their strengths are and trying to limit them to, doing things that they're not accustomed to doing. And then a lot of people can't score um without a screen, without a
Yeah,
pick and roll, without it's a lot of footwork and details that go into things too when you're talking about you and somebody else competing just mano a mano. So I mean, Boo's a scorer, like he can
okay.
fill it up and score, but I'm also a defender too that can really score. So
Yeah, yeah.
we should
I
see how
really,
that goes.
I love that matchup. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. Um,
Yeah,
we usually start back at the very beginning. Have you always played basketball, or was there other sports involved?
I played football. Boys and Girls Club, Allentown Boys and Girls Club. I played football at DeMatha. Um, Football was like always my second love. And then basketball kind of. My mother got to the point where you got to choose one.
Okay.
It's hard to be a two-sport guy going to DeMatha. A lot of people don't know I went to DeMatha my freshman
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah.
to be a two-sport guy, you got to put your all in one of the sports if you really try and get somewhere.
Hmm. That's a fact. I know. I saw you post something. I don't know if somebody tagged you in it or you definitely shared something. And you was like, a lot of people don't even know you used to get in on the field too.
Oh yeah, quarterback. I put some money up on seeing who could throw it the farthest for sure. I I put some money on. I messed around a couple days ago throwing the football. It's still there.
Okay.
It ain't too far off.
Okay. Did going starting at DeMatha, was it
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's one of the best schools in the nation. Was it a tough adjustment for you walking in as a freshman and trying to get on the field and play basketball?
Yeah, it was extremely tough. My daughter goes to O'Connell, the
Okay.
private school life. And the reason I didn't make it was because it was too much freedom. A kid like me, Fort Washington, my mom, it's too much freedom. They tell you do
Yeah.
assignment 30 days out, you know what I mean? Like college life. I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for that. You telling me I don't have to turn this in for 30 days? Man, you
Yeah.
know?
Kid running with that. Kid running with
Yeah.
that.
So it was definitely a maturity adjustment for me. And I say it all the time, everybody's not made for private school at all. You know, it's just a timing thing that I think a lot of kids have to understand, and you have to be a certain level of maturity to survive in that atmosphere.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I was reading up, and sophomore year, you didn't play any sports at all.
I got put out of the DeMatha for, a reason that I couldn't attend
Uh-huh.
no schools. It's basically being expelled. So
Okay.
when you leave there, I had to sit out a year. I actually moved to Virginia at that time and tried to get on at Mount Vernon with Ryan Hughes and all those guys. They had a good mob over there too.
Okay. Was that tough for you? I mean, of course, being an athlete, you have to sit out a whole year.
It's extremely tough, but at that time, I understood what I did and the consequences that came for whatever I did. Then I
Gotcha.
also understood that I still was a kid that was able to hoop. Like I still had the AAUs, the hooping outside. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
understand the whole outcome until after the fact, of course, as I got older and understood what, you gotta have your head on right and do right. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
things can happen that can mess you up totally. And I look back at that now, and talking to Mike Jones and those type of guys, like you never know what Chris Howard would have been if I'd have made it through that DeMatha air. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
still made
Yeah.
a name for myself, but it's a different tag when you have that name on you.
Yeah, for sure. And he definitely mentioned that, back when Quinn Cook was doing all the IG lives. He said he would have loved to have you all 4 years there for sure.
Yeah, it would have been special for sure.
Hmm.
Even though my high school career, man, is
Yeah.
like I don't speak on it too much, and I sit back and a lot of people I talk to, we talk about the idea of if there was a lot of video cameras back then and social media outlets, and it's some stuff that happened during my high school career, man, that you wish you could go back and live it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's
it was.
and I come humbly, but I'm talking about games sold out at 4:30, like
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
to see the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a difference.
I'm glad that was we going into that junior year. Around that time, I'm in middle school, but like I went to Isaac Goldie. I'm right down the street from Friendly, so I remember like what it looked like riding past Friendly on game night. Like I had to be somewhere or something. Like I got Boys and Girls Club game and
Yeah.
Friendly gym packed out. So what was that like playing going into Friendly your junior year? Like what was the like environment atmosphere like when you walked in there?
Going to Friendly alone was just tough, period. Like a lot of people, this is no. So my first time in Friendly, that me and Sam Young got to fighting the first day. Gerald Moore, rest in peace.
Yeah,
locked
rest
the
in
door,
peace.
put tape over the door, and me and him got it in the middle of the court, like off, just so it was like a understanding of my mentality, your mentality, alpha male, alpha male. You know,
Yeah,
nobody.
yeah,
It just so going into that situation, it was different for me because it was like new kid on the block, but I'm a dog. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That and then we had the likes of Andrew Washington, SpongeBob behind us, still at the school, still coming up there, still at the practices, you know, which put in a different mentality. Like the mentality when people talk about the PG County air, there's times where, practice wasn't running plays and, it was coach sitting in the middle of the court with some money on the ground saying, check up. Whoever gets it in is starting next week. You know what I mean? That's
yeah, yeah.
literally the culture of what Friendly and that mentality. And there was a bunch of schools that I know carried themselves just like that. And I think
Mhm.
people don't understand that that's what makes PG County basketball what it was. It's
Yep.
wars going on in them schools. It's different environment. You're maturing so fast because the outside life is a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So going into that situation, it was an eye opener, but I think I was ready for it because I already had, the experience at the Mather, the experience sitting out a whole year.
Hmm.
Now people act like they didn't know what I was or what I was capable of. So it was like
Yeah,
I got to show myself all over again and clean my, background, everything, make sure everything's all good. So it was an eye opener, but it helped me in so many ways just with life alone, man. Helped me
yeah. I
in so
think that's a good point. Like, and I know it's like this in many areas, but people don't really understand. You know, like growing up in PG, it was normal to be like 14, 15 at the club on the weekend. Like people didn't really understand that, so it was just like
for sure.
they're just adding so many things like academics and athletics to it. It brought in a different atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
No question.
So
I,
that junior year, oh my bad, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead.
Y'all really had a mob that year. So people, a lot of people when they think back on, especially people, I graduated '09, so people my age, all they do is just think about, Chris Young. I mean, Chris Howard, Sam Young, but y'all had
Yeah.
like Trayvon Jackson on the mob with y'all.
Yeah.
Uh, I think
King
King was
Minor,
playing.
Strong, Randy
Yeah,
Hampton, uh, the Calvin. The list goes on. But that
yeah,
junior mob team was so thorough, like, and more like recipes to him again, one of the greatest coaches I ever had. And I say that on a level of I don't think people understand with the coaching thing. He had us brainwashed to the idea that we could run through brick walls for him. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that was the mentality of like whatever it takes to win to get out of here tonight, that's what we're gonna do. And that's why I say he's one of the greatest coaches that ever, like the pregame speeches, like it's so many memories, man, that
Yeah.
you had to be in that bubble to understand what we was facing and the attitude and approach that we had. Like we never felt like the game was too big or it was even killed, but we was ready to go to war with anybody. And that's something that he really instilled in us in the way he talked to us and way he handled us as men. It wasn't no little boy stuff going on at Friendly at all.
Had to man up.
Yeah, for sure. For
I and it
sure.
was is I think that's really special. You talking about like how he coached and he believed in that. He built that belief system in y'all. It was a lot of people in there that weren't like from like originally from like the Fort Washington area, all on one team around the same time. So it's like he had to get all the egos, all the mindsets to get on one page.
Yeah, and that's part, man. When I tell you, my first day, me and Sam, it happened like it was tension, and he like, oh no, fuck that, let's get that out now. He putting the tape over the glass. Let's put the chains on. Y'all go ahead bump for a minute, and we'll
Yeah,
stop it whenever. You know what I'm saying? But that was his approach, man. It just like he had a no shaking coach's hands policy. Like we wasn't shaking people's hand. Like in ways like me and Sam talk about it now that we almost became like distance to the world and that hurt us. Like we wasn't networking, we wasn't trying to be cool with Suitland, Oxon Hill, and it's the truth. Like as
Yeah.
I got older now, I want to network. I want to meet people. I want to, but in that mentality, that setting he had us in, nah, we wasn't trying to. We'll figure it out right here in this circle, and
Yeah. But that's
it's different, man. Everybody can't
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's not the worst thing in the world, honestly, especially when you compete, and that's not the worst mentality to have.
Competing, that's the key. But as you get older, you need to
Yeah.
open up new doors. If Trey Kelly said that the other day, he's like, I wasn't the type to shake you dudes' hands.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
I felt that. Like, that's how I'm not trying to be your buddy, bro. If we're gonna go to war next week, we got y'all on the schedule. We don't need to be cool. Like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be cool. So I feel it like, but as a mature man now, like I wish I built relationships with certain people. Like I'm building them now, becoming
Mhm.
more vocal and talking. But as I understand how business works, how jobs work, like that approach is good to have, but
Yeah.
you gotta learn how to turn it on and off. We didn't have an off. It wasn't no off. It was always on.
I got you. I got you. You're definitely right about that. You gotta find the balance as you get older.
For sure. For sure.
Um, so that year, junior, that's the undefeated year, right?
Yeah.
That's 26-0. During the season, it's like as momentum is building. Was that a goal to stay undefeated, or was it just
Uh, we never got outside of the game that was at hand.
okay?
Like we never, like I don't even think we thought about undefeated. Like it was literally who's in front of it, like who's in the lines in the squares today.
Got
Like
you.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like I don't like nobody ever was like, oh, we gotta go undefeated. Like let's do something that's never been like we didn't care about whoever did it, what's done. It was literally like who we got? Okay. Let's go to war. Let's figure it out. Let's line up and see how this gonna play out. And then move on to the next thing. And then move on to the next thing. And it
Team
just it
effort.
was family, man. That it was a family. Steve Nelson, Drew. I'm talking about them dudes was coming in our practices, watching us go to war. Like Jamal
And
Chavez. Like it
yeah.
just was war, man. Like Jamal Chavez used to bring in people from outside just to see, like, let me make sure y'all got what y'all need. And we'll see how it goes. But it was a family based thing over there, friendly, man, during them times. I don't think we ever got too high or too low. It was more so like what's in between the lines for that time.
Okay. And that's people. I mean, everybody who always gets in. They always talk about that. Having somebody that you could like live their tank, like you could physically touch. Come
Yeah.
back and they could put that word in your ear, show you what you're missing, show you what you need to improve on, stuff like that. It's always good to have that.
I will say for myself, going into friendly Annapolis and Gwen Park was like on the forefront. I guess they always beat them or they struggle with them for some reason. So that was kind of more in my ear. Like
Okay.
Gwen Park is going, they gonna bring it. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
Annapolis. If we get in the playoffs, we always get problems with Annapolis and those guys. But I used to come to those games when I attended the math and seen what was like
Okay.
what the
Okay.
smoke was. Like I seen the Calvin Cages kill friendly. I done seen Chris McCrae's. I'm like, okay, there's some wreck out here. So
Yeah.
I was already aware of what was okay. That's what we got to do then. Okay, let's figure it out.
Yeah. So y'all win it 03. Going
Uh huh.
into the next year, did y'all ever feel that outside pressure? Like you
Nah.
coming back, like never felt it at all. Y'all
It.
was in that bubble. Y'all was
I'm
in that
trying to
bubble for real.
explain it the best way I can, but it's like the dude brainwashed us, man. Like I'm serious. Like it was more so like you want me to run through that brick wall right there? I can run. You give me enough confidence, I can run through that brick wall. All right, I'm gonna run through that brick wall, and that's how it was. Like he
Yeah.
had us trained with the mindset of like, nah, ain't nobody. We can line up. Just line up. That's all it is. Like that's just how
During
special coach that dude was, man. I don't know. how I don't know, what, but that's just how special Gerald Moore was as a coach and how he played the mind game with the players, man. Like nobody on our team was soft. Like, and
Yeah.
that's unheard of. Like you can't be soft and be here. That just it ain't gonna work for you. You're gonna either go home mad, sad, they picking on me. It just you had thick skin playing for that dude, man. He had that friendly atmosphere. I just didn't feel like nobody could beat us. It just
Yeah.
wasn't.
That's special to have. What you speaking on is real special to have. Like a lot of people that'll never experience that in a team atmosphere.
Yeah, man. It's like, but it builds brotherhood too. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
part that now I look back and me and Sam go to war still today. Like that's just it is what it is. Lloyd Phillips, like these are dudes. Like if you think about the guys like that I'm speaking on, Sam started playing basketball late.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd couldn't make the team before I got to friendly. Like these are guys that couldn't make the team, didn't start, didn't. Now you part of history.
Yeah,
How?
yeah,
How? How did that just happen? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm telling you, it has something to do with the culture in which that shit was going on. Like it was a different culture. It was a different bubble of what was going on there. And people tell me all the time, like, man, they should do 30 for 30 on that stuff y'all did, but it wasn't on cameras. I call people all the time. You got any game tapes or films of what was going on back then? Like, we used to have fun. We used to destroy. Like, I wish I still had film on that stuff, but it wasn't cameras and shit back then, man.
yeah. It was word of mouth. The crazy thing is, like, my father used to have a cell phone store up in Akakeek, and so
Yeah,
a lot of employees used to go to Friendly, and they would just come in there telling me the wildest stories, and I'm like, bro, this don't even sound real. I'm like 11 years old. Like, there's no way Sam did that in the game. There's no way Chris made that pass. Like, that don't even sound real.
man. Like people, like this is God's honest truth. Like there was bets me and Sam would make, like have dunk contests in the game. Like whoever gets the nastiest dunk, whoever catches the most bodies, whoever whatever. Like this is stuff that really went on. Like I'm talking about, I bet it. And Moore's like,
Yeah,
hey, I got 1,000 for whoever, da 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 da. Or,
yeah,
triple doubles. Like, how many triple doubles can you get in a row? Let's see. Since you
yeah,
say it, Big Mouth, let me see what you got to say, Big Mouth. You say you're gonna get it, let's get it. And that it was totally different, man. It's different than this generation now. And I hope it gets back to that. But it was a level of competition. And friendly is what it is because I say this, the other schools was the same way.
hmm
Bobby Mays and them over there in Suitland wasn't taking no shit.
right, right,
Riverdale Baptist wasn't taking no shit. Trey Kelly at Dunbar when it was him, Earl Rigsby, the whole mob, Randy, they wasn't taking no late. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
This is
yeah,
so I say that to show respect to all the people too. Like it was still other schools that was, coming with some shit. It wasn't
yeah,
just friendly. It was a
yeah,
war every night.
yeah. Because at the same time, Oxon Hill, right down the street, they was winning state championships too.
I story Oxon Hill pull up to friendly, wanting to bump, like bump. That it just was different. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like that's how the mentality it went. Like the whole air, the whole DMV was on fire. Like people wanted to bump.
yeah. And because it was like I remember, like, so my cousin Brian Johnson, I think y'all played them. Is that one of the losses
Uh-huh.
that came?
Big
That,
Brian Johnson. Yep.
yeah, and that's
And
like,
they got us lucky too. First game of the year.
yeah, that's what
I'm
he
gonna
said.
say it
That's what
here.
he said.
First game
That's
of
what
the
he said.
year. Lloyd goes probably 4 for 22, and we
God
lose by
damn,
like 2 or 3. Lloyd couldn't throw a rock in the ocean.
that's sick as shit.
They got away with a good steal. They got us, but from then on, mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
y'all ran through everybody after that. Y'all ran through
Yeah, I
everybody.
wanted to see them towards the end of the year after we jailed, and that was the first time we played on the big court at American. So I already knew that was going to affect some of the guys, and I think that's what kind of affected Lloyd, to be honest. you play in them cold field houses or, whatever
Yeah.
them college gyms with nothing behind the backboard, it changes things. If you
Yeah.
know basketball, that changes, the trajectory and, ain't no wall behind that basket. And
Hmm.
I feel like that kind of threw his shot off. But yeah, they got us. I know Lomax, Eric, they had a little Eric. Yeah,
Yeah. Stand
they
back
got,
for real on that
yep,
team.
Fred. I play with Fred AAU, like Blue Devils. So yeah, that was a
And
good
that,
one though.
and that's definitely like I think that's what made it so special. 'Cause, like the public schools bumping just as hard as the private schools. They had that whole debate, but I was like back then anybody could win those games. It wasn't no lopsided thing how it is now. It was like public going to smack at private each and every time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I say this, I say ain't no private school really want no smoke with us. Not for that, like when it's on the
Not,
line. Like
yeah,
let's line it up and let's roll the balls out. But I respect that. I know Quinn and all of them get into the private school public school match. But it can go either way. It just depends on the air and it depends on the team that you're playing against. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You keep speaking about Lloyd Phillips, and I was reading something like it's crazy. That first year, I didn't know that he had never played until that junior year. And that first year, he only averaged like 3 or 4 points. And that senior year, he had jumped up to like 14, 15.
Yep. And I just talked to him. He called me about the Boo matchup. He
Okay.
like, I'm there, blah, blah, blah. It's just that brotherhood. But Lloyd been through the fire, man. That's part of I can't explain in full what I'm talking about, but it's he been through that fire. Like the dude went through the trenches. Like
Gotcha.
his whole manner, it's like you put a Yorkie in a cage with some pit bulls. Eventually, it's gonna turn to a pit bull, or it
Gonna
ain't
get
gonna
eaten.
survive.
Yeah, yeah,
And he turned into a pit bull. This dude went D1, played big time. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it's a dude that couldn't make the team. Love him to death. He couldn't make the team. And we used to tell him all the time. He had wreck on his hands playing against D. Conyers, who was on the football team. Joe Hayden, who's an
yeah,
all-star in the NFL. Like, people
yeah,
don't know he was in that fire, too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Him and Keem, right? Was it Keem? Was Keem
yeah,
there? Yeah,
Raheem Vick, all
yeah,
dogs. Like, those are
yeah.
dogs in a different sport. They dogs in football. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then dogs on the basketball court. So that's what Lloyd had to go through. Like, you play Joe Hayden, yeah, you see what he do.
Yeah, yeah. And people don't understand how tough he was in basketball. A lot of people don't know that. Like he was tough, tough, tough.
That whole family's tough.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so going back at senior year, y'all ran through it. Lost
Mm-hmm.
O'Connor out the loss. What was it
Yep.
like come state championship? Did y'all were y'all able to keep that mindset being 17, 18, like, oh, we gotta stay focused one game at a time? Or did y'all ever get in, or did Coach Moore ever let y'all get to that point?
Man, we never got ahead. And
Okay.
I think it falls into that whole thing of like the wars in practice, the wars day in, day out. Like it was like we was battling each other sometimes. Like me, Sam, the bar was set so high. Like
Yeah.
I don't back then. Just imagine this, and this put things in the perspective. Like now, me thinking about it. So King Minor, my junior year, was the 4-man that started. Right.
Okay.
This dude, used to lift like retardedly before practice, after practice. I don't even remember ever lifting weights in high school. Like
Damn.
you're talking about back then, nobody
Yeah.
was really in the weight room. Like you get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that mentality is what also made Sam Young start lifting. And then
Okay.
that seeing Sam lift and start, bumping. And I'm like, oh, he getting strong as shit. Hold on. I start lifting with him. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was like, even if you think, like, I want anybody to think, go back to 2000 to 2008 and tell me somebody that lifted weights playing basketball hard. Like, not, I'm talking about lift like they play football. You know what I'm saying? The math that
Yeah.
they lifted. but that was football and you do some light basketball stuff. I'm talking
Yeah.
about just the mentality back then of what them dudes brought, just lifting weights. I don't remember people lifting weights back then.
You're right. You're right. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. Like you said, unless they was on playing football too, they really weren't.
Yeah, I mean, you see the football team, you don't see no basketball teams in 2002 and 3 in the weight room before practice and after at a public school. Where?
No way. No way.
Where?
No.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff that I look at now and I'm like, we was different. Like, cause I see Sam go in there and my mentality is like, he gonna try to bully me today. Like, I gotta get in there. Like,
Yeah.
but if you go back and this any player that's listening to this, anybody that's watching right now, tell me your team was lifting in 2000 or 2008. Oh, that 8-year span, tell me y'all was on a regiment where you was getting it in. Like me and Sam, like no funny, used to call each other and do push, like make sure, like, hey, you got your 250 in today? All right, bet. Or let's do it together. Like really
Yeah.
count all the way through. This went through his Hargrave prep school, my prep school years. This is what me and him was doing, like the high school time. Like it was different. That's different. Nobody was doing that shit. Everybody
Yeah.
just
That's
wanted to
tough.
hoop.
That's tough. Y'all was holding each other accountable like that back then.
Still today. Still, let me see him stink it up in a gym somewhere. Oh, I'm on the line. That's still today. That's what I said. It's a brotherhood, like for real. Like I hold you accountable because yeah, when your name's mentioned, guess who else's name's mentioned? Or Lloyd, you out here stinking it up, Slim? Hey, nah, fool, your name with my name. Like, we're not
Yeah.
about to do that.
Yeah.
They're gonna say you went
Oh,
to friendly.
VO said they was in there. VO said they was in there.
Listen to what I'm saying though, VO. I see that, but that's part of what I'm saying too. Is what I say the other schools made friendly what they was. You get what I'm saying? During that time, that era.
Yeah.
Even though I'm saying most didn't, but the ones that we was in the fight with, I respect that you probably was because I'm giving y'all the respect. Y'all made us what we had to do. So I wouldn't put it past
Hey, that your senior year, all Matt. How many triple doubles did you have that year? Because I always find different numbers. Do
someone.
you remember the
I
exact
thought I
count?
was in double. I thought I double figured it. So I thought I was
Okay.
like 13, 14 mark. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
wanted,
Yeah.
I know the bet like I had with Diego at the time was could you do half of the year? Like 15 was the number. Like I think we played
Gotcha.
like 32 games or something like that, maybe, or 30 games or something like that. So I used to try to keep in mind that 15 was the thing. And then I
Okay.
got slighted out a lot of them. I had a lot of 9 rebounds, like I'm right there. Like
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
back and watch the tape, like, oh, Washington Post got this wrong. Like, hold
Yeah.
on. But that stuff, man, to be honest, that stuff just happens. I'm not chasing stats. I wasn't. It just happened that way. Like the way our team was set up, the way I had to do whatever I had to do to get things done. It just happened that way.
And that's a great transition because I was gonna ask, like, was being well rounded like that always a part of your game, or was it just something that just like started forming, at friendly?
Truth be told, so I can break down my game into the segments of life, like when I think about it. So Boys and Girls Club, Coach Johnson, Skip Johnson, like my father figure, I
Mm.
had a scorer's mentality. A lot of people don't know. I played with Brian Westbrook and them. I was playing 4 years up in Boys and Girls Club. Four years up. Like they'll tell you.
That's crazy.
My mother married Cardell father, and he was 4 years older. So I played up 4 years. Then Skip seen me and was like, how old is he? Oh no, we gotta bring him down. And that's when it all started with Allentown Boys and Girls Club, where I started playing the Taiwan Lawson, Dante Cunningham's. They was at Andrews Air Force Base. All their parents was military. So
Okay.
that initiated the score mentality. Like I became a scorer young, like footwork and figuring out ways to get a basket. Then
Yeah.
as I matured and got through Boys and Girls Club, that's when I ran into Mike Jones. When Mike Jones seen me seventh, eighth grade, it was like a lot of like fundamentals. The math was fundamentals of pick and rolls and, you know, building your body, we jumping over fucking big ass boxes, and he had me dunking. He made a promise that I promise you'll be dunking in 2 weeks. I'll never forget this. And we had the medicine balls, and he used to put the ball rack, and we used to have to jump over it 500 times. 500 times. Boom. So that's when I started dunking, when I started trusting my body and then understanding basketball. So when I started having the scoring mentality, then Mike Jones at DeMatha brought the fundamentals and the importance of like your body and understanding your body and how you can work and your bounce goes up or you become stronger finishing in traffic. You add that, then you add just Gerald Moore, the dog. That's how you got Chris Howard.
Crazy the beast. Crazy the beast.
That's how you get the whole Pivot Life package right there. There's the 3 segments. 3 different dudes, 3 different attitudes, 3 different approaches of the game, all in one.
Got you. And that's something like for a big guard, like your footwork, was that something like you individually worked on, or like were you always like good with body control?
To be honest, a lot of my footwork came from playing Fowler and Campbell, who also was a big guard back then. And me and him had some of the craziest wars. And I used to see the way he spins. I used to see, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold on. He got a little different package for his size. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of him, a lot of Tywan Lawson. But Fowler and Campbell was the person that really made me elevate my package. Like, he was doing stuff that average people couldn't do. And I kind of fell in line with it.
And that's something like, and again, like this has been recent. Like a lot of people, when Trey and Bruce was there, it was kind of like a whole DC versus Moko type of thing. And
which I don't like. I don't like that approach about what they did. I don't like that we separated it. I think it's more so Trey versus Bruce. Like, don't put the areas. Areas don't have nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
You can be from Wichita. If you can boogie, you can boogie.
Right. You're right. You're right. You can be from anywhere. But I felt like a lot of the players from Montgomery County, they felt slighted. And then people were throwing out there for long County, he been hoop. But a lot of people forget like how tough he was. I can't remember his teammate name. We had a tough teammate too at Springboro. I can't remember his name. But he gets overlooked a lot, man.
Who, Fowler?
Yeah. I feel like
overlooked where?
When I say that, I'm speaking from like I graduated 09, so I'm thinking like people like me, like they don't really know 04, 03.
Tell them to call me. Look, and I tell you, people don't understand. Sam was on Fowler's team during that time. Like, Sam was on his team, ball handlers. Like, this is when Fowler was scoring 40s and 50s and 30s and like 6'2", 6'1" out there at 14s, 15s. Like, the dude was different. And you see what he did at George Mason. It don't stop there. Like, people, like, I won't let nobody speak on his name crazy. Like, never. That dude got my respect from a lot of my doing is from me and him going to war. And Sam used to tell me, like, Fowler better than you. Like, Fowler Campbell better than you. Shaq. They used to call him Shaq back then. Shaq better than you. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Shaq can't do nothing with me.
You take it personal. You gotta take that personal.
Man. Shaq can tell you, man, the wars was different, man. That wars was different. But that's why that's why I say, like, Trace made a great statement yesterday, and I think Bruce tagged in on it, man. When you talk about legacy, you can't tarnish nobody's legacy, man.
Not at all.
I don't care if he lose, win, whatever. You can't tarnish nothing that's been done. And that's why I stand so solid. Like, person ever say they cooked me, and for one cook that you did on me, I done chefed up a million people on the highest of high levels. So legacy is legacy, man. But it's sad. The hard part that you try to understand is for these younger generations to carry the same respect, which they'll never see. Like, they never seen Chris Howard at his peak. You know what I mean? A kid right now that's in high school may not never respect, like, I don't know, I ain't worried about him. But if you were around and
Yeah,
really paid attention,
yeah. You know
that's the
what's up.
hardest thing that's the hardest thing to try to, hold and try to, like it's hard because you want to tell people, nah, man, I used to, man, what? Man, you talking about dunking? Man, come on, man.
And
But it's like,
it's like you said, it was no cameras. It wasn't that many cameras back in the gym.
but I
That's
think
really
like in the same token, that's what drove Trey for this weekend that just passed. When you say I'm washed up at 35,
yeah.
like
That's
if
true.
you know
That's
that
true.
man body of work, like the body of work and the story behind what he went through,
Yeah,
oh no, you got to answer that, Slim. You got to. And that's the same way I feel. It's like if you call me out today, I'm standing here still 30, a little heavier. Nah, you got to see me.
yeah,
We got to
yeah.
figure it out.
That dog
And
mentality still there.
it don't go away. It like eat at you sometimes. Like even watching those battles, it's like I talked to Boo like on the phone and in person I seen Boo and Boo's like, man, after seeing that Trey and Bruce, it is what it is. It's that competitive juice. Like I gotta get some of that. Like,
Yeah,
whew,
that's
got to,
different. And
got to.
going back a little bit, you played with all those guys in that. This is when Jordan Brand had the Capital Classic for a few years. Y'all all played in that game together.
Yeah.
I was there. I remember that. It was just like my thing was I just remember like, people come out of town and I just remember being like 12, 13 and people like, oh, I'm ready for the national game, I'm ready for the national game. And I'm just trying to tell them like this first game is just as squatted as that national game. And when you look, I was trying to find the book. I had a book around it somewhere. When you look at it, it's basically just it's a few more in the national game, but just as many dudes from the regional game made it to the league and had successful careers.
Facts.
And
Facts. I think Isaiah Swan was the only one that played in the national game. During that
yeah,
time. That's when LeBron was coming out. And crazy story, like Gerald Moore was trying to figure out how we could play LeBron and them. Like he was like adamant about like we gonna find a way. Like the highest stage, my senior year, we beat 3 national ranked top 10 teams. National, that was Riverdale, some St. Mary's Rikings or some out of Philly or the Rats or some shit, and something else. And then National Christian, who had DeMar Jones, Darius Washington, Patrick Ewing, Lethal Shooter, Fat Cat, Abdullah Jolly. We beat them. You know what I'm saying?
that's
So,
tough as hell.
like, people say, like, no, we didn't just play this area. Like, we was looking for smoke everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
and LeBron and them was the head of the head. I don't know what would have happened. I don't know how that would have went. But when you
That would have
think
been
of that
crazy.
Capital Classic, man, it was like it's an experience for anybody. Like everybody looks at it, you think Jordan just to meet Jordan or to get the new Jordans that's coming out and nobody got them but you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that type of stuff lives with you forever, man. Like I remember when we used to play and compete just to get shoes. Like if
Yeah.
I kill, I know somebody gonna look out and give me them J's
Yeah.
coming out next week. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That was the mentality. So to play in that game, on that level, and again, that's that big arena talk. When I hear people say like it's a difference, that's what I say. When I say it's a difference, there's a difference than playing, Berry Farms and going to Syracuse and playing the Dome, or going to play at Louisville in front of 20,000, and there's nothing behind that backboard. Like
Yeah.
it's different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you just get to experience that early. Like we got to experience that in high school, which was amazing. And kids now get to experience their high school games now on the big level are in arenas.
Yeah. That's common. That's common now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had that book. It was like, but like Jeff was in that game, Roy was in that game, and
Yeah.
I just,
Roy, B Mays,
yeah,
Chuck, Sam, me. I can't remember all the way
it
back.
was
I
it
think
was a lot. It was a lot.
it was some dogs in the area, man.
Yeah. Um, and then this was I ain't know this. This is tough. Like, I applaud you for this. You won Defensive Player of the Year for your team every single year down there, USF.
Yeah, for sure. And got an award that's forever there. Forever. It's the Chris Howard Award.
For real?
Yeah, for sure.
So to win that award, what you have to do to win that award?
It's called like a heartmanship, like to have the heart, the
Okay.
desire, or to be like what they call a bull, to represent the green bleed.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, like, and that's the part that I think people kind of forget. And I say it in a humbly way, but I went from checking Luke Herringotti's to Kemba Walker, like Big East. Like there's a difference. You
Yeah,
understand?
this
Like
is
you don't check Kemba Walker on a Tuesday and then go check Luke Herringotti Thursday night. Nobody, like, come on, that's different.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's real different.
people don't like give credit where, and that's the part where I think I'm gonna have to showcase in the boost situation. Like, man, defense, that's like I do that. Like when I really gotta lock in and can like it's just me and you, you gotta lock in. And that's where we're gonna keep that on there.
Yeah, hey, when I saw that, I was like, damn, like that's tough. Like, cause that's basically like you set the standard. Like, oh, somebody coming in, they're not gonna be the best defensive player. Like, that's something you have to take that personal in order to do that each year.
And it's, let me say this, it happened in a sense of, I tore my ACL twice before I even hit the college floor, like day before my freshman game. So in that system of you also got to look at what's around me. You understand? Like I got one of the leading nation scorers, Dominic Jones, who's leading the nation in scoring 30s and 40s, was a first round draft pick. I got Mike Mercer, who's Lewis Williams' teammate out of Georgia, who was projected to be Dwayne Wade on NBA prospect. And then you got a guy like Gus Gilchrist, who's from here that people don't really remember, was averaging 20 and 10 my junior year. He averaged 20 and 10. So it's like, now do you go out here and get a bucket and say fuck it, like I'm just going to try to score, get mines, and whatever happens, or do you fall into the role of what's best for the team? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was going to be the brains of the operation. I was going to lock down. I was going to run the show and let y'all do what y'all do, and we'll play out however it plays out. If somebody sees my worth, they see my worth. So I kind of got pushed into that by just my maturity level of I'd rather win than, try to average 15 in the Big East and we getting our head hit. Nah.
Yeah, that's big respect, because a lot of people, they would have shot till they got that 15 every single game.
Yeah, and I know some people that was their approach, for sure. Like, and raising my daughter, if I ever have a son, like, sometimes that mentality, it works. Because you can't erase averaging 18 in the Big East at that time. If you average 18 at that time, you going to get drafted. I don't give a fuck what's going on. So, I mean, I feel like that situation of going through that and tearing my ACLs and having to evolve, like my game has to change to some degree, because people say like you come back stronger, you do, but you also are mentally scarred about how you move, how you cut, how you explode and jumping ability, and it takes a lot. I went through hell rehabbing and even getting back to now. Like people don't know it now. I've been outside ever since. I'm playing in concrete every summer.
Yeah.
You look at people that tear the ACL twice and see how long they boogie.
Not
you know
too
what I mean?
long.
That's not a pro with great doctors and rehab and all that. Like
they hang it up because that's tough.
Yeah, I'll use that as no excuse, but it's a part of the story since we're talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, a lot of things could change. If you look back, the year that I came back from my ACL, I led the Big East in assists on one leg. They didn't give it to me because I only played 14 games. You had to play 16 games on the year. LeVance Fields played the whole. But we're talking about if you get me healthy and I lead the Big East in assists and average 11 as a freshman, now we start talking about, oh, he's league or which was
Yeah.
doable. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Solomon Jones was my center. My freshman year, we started a walk on. He got drafted. We had Melvin Buckley, who transferred from Purdue, led the Big East in 3-point. Like, that's doable if we're
Yeah.
talking about me at the point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hear people say it. Some people that know, but a lot of people don't know. Like, the story could have been a lot different and crazier. Just,
Yeah.
you got to play the cards that God gives us, you know?
Fact. Fact. Everything happened for a reason. For real though. Like it's really a reason behind it.
For sure. But I don't regret none of this. I think all of it also made me a successful person outside of the game. Like, now that I sit back as a man and I have this mentality and I can view situations. I've been through some storms, and the average storm ain't gonna shake my feathers. Like, I've been through it all. So
Built for it.
yeah, for tough, man.
My man. My man. Talk about. I didn't notice. Like I did a lot of research for this. You was director of basketball operations. How was that?
It's different, man. At South Florida, Stan Heath brought me in. Shout out to
Okay.
Stan Heath. Going back to my school, it was definitely adjustment. But I was playing overseas, and I was playing in Ukraine. Me, Sponge, Travis Garrison, all of us was out there.
Okay.
And new coach come in and didn't like the situation. I get up out of there, and I had the option. He's like, my agent's like, you want to go play somewhere else, or you want to go home with your family? My daughter was at the time, getting that age where it's daddy, I miss you, where you at? So I took a step back and try to, is it worth me chasing this dream that I know I'd have made it a name for myself, or whatever the case may be, or be a man, take care of your kid, be at home and figure it out another way. I got 2 degrees at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still was working on my game, and then, somebody brought it across my table, like, would you think about coaching or blah, blah, blah. And the numbers make sense. Like, I don't know if people understand what these coaches are making in high level basketball, but it made sense. And I got the opportunity. Lo and behold, he gets fired. Kentucky guy comes in and releases the rest of the staff. And it was a matter of, do you want to still keep coaching? And in my heart, I'm a Bull for life. Like, so I don't want to go help another program. Like,
Yeah.
y'all
Yeah.
supposed to keep me. Like, this, my blood, sweat, and tears is in this program. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the last person you need to let go. So eventually it didn't work out. And I always think about if I'm gonna get back. Matter of fact, they have an ops open right now, 2 ops jobs opening there now. But I may consider the idea of getting back into that whole coaching thing. But it's a different lens. Like, you get to see the business side of what college basketball is about. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
think kids don't understand that this is somebody's livelihood. Like, they're gambling with you. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
teach that to my daughter all the time. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that go into the investment that you're going to keep my job. Like, you're going to make me look good. And it's cutthroat. If you don't
Yeah.
make me look good, what you think? I'm going to let this house go and my family starve to help you? Nah,
No.
it don't work like that. And I
Yeah.
think players don't, when I was playing, I didn't understand that either. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you just play and you're like, oh, he's not playing me. He don't like me, man. It's some
Right.
bullshit. But it's a business. When you hear pros say, no, this is a business, it's a business
Yeah.
on all levels. When you get to college, when you get to uh, pros, you know, it's a business first. This ain't about, who wins national title. It's a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's job is on the line all the time.
A well-paying job
Coaches,
too.
yes, yes. And they want to keep their job at all
Yeah.
times. They want to keep their light bill on and, things like that. So if you got a kid, I I encourage you to get them to understand that part of it, that it is a business. Like, your approach about it determines their success. And I believe Stan Heath didn't like me at first. He wanted to transfer me. Wanted to, oh, you're too slow. We need to play faster. And over time, you bring
Yeah,
whoever you want in here. I'm at their head all
yeah,
day long. They got to come correct because I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I wasn't one that's going to transfer or none of that stuff. And we built a relationship and an understanding, and it paid off because when I needed a job, it circled back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a matter of understanding that it's a business and understanding that you have to carry yourself at a certain level of maturity through it all.
And that goes back to how you first started. It was like building those relationships. You were able to
Yeah,
build that
that networking
relationship.
part, man.
Yeah,
Like you got to learn how to turn it on and off. There's times I in college, I went the fuck off, like lost it, like. But you got to learn have that switch. It's
yeah.
different people, man. It's different stuff that's just even stuff that I did back in high school. I never did in college just because the level of maturity, having a kid and understanding the consequences of if you get caught doing this, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? If you
Mhm.
out doing this, partying, the girls, all that stuff. You mature through it all.
Yeah, and I'm like your daughter's gonna be able to walk into college, a lot more mature than a lot of the other players, just because you have that knowledge to give to her.
Oh yeah, and we battle. Don't get me wrong. Like, oh man, being that little girl, man, we battle. And it's any kid, man. I tell everybody that's raising a kid, and it's gonna be some highs and lows for sure. But everybody I ever talk to, I have people that's close to me that understand me and Aaliyah's relationship. They
Mhm.
said you never can talk too much. They hear you. So that's my mentality with raising mine. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna keep saying it. Whether you agree, whether you want to hear it, just keep saying it to them, man. Keep dropping them gems. Keep dropping experiences, and don't be scared to tell your kid what's real, like what you've been through. Like, hey, I did this too. This ain't new to me. Like, cause a lot of kids think, mom and dad they
they
never
don't know
did it. They
nothing.
don't know. They don't know. Nah, I was in them clubs. I was, yeah. I had my daughter in high school. So, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
just got to keep plugging at them, and let them know you're not perfect. That's
Mhm.
another thing. I think parents and kids having kids today in this generation, we try to paint a picture that we're perfect. We're not. Nobody is. You know what I mean? And the second that you make your kid think you perfect, the first mistake is gonna be 10 times worse because they're gonna be like, oh, you did that. But so just make sure your kids understand you're not perfect and you keep dropping them gems in their ear, man.
For
For
sure.
sure.
I got a little girl and a little boy, so and I do respect like you always did with your daughter. You at the games, you at the practices, like people notice that stuff. So just big respect for you to like showing that like you can have this
Sure.
relationship with your daughter and teach her the right things.
Yeah. And I look at it like I got my daughter, but man, I got a whole entourage of kids, man. I train.
Yeah, yeah,
I take my hat off to a lot of the fathers that I train. Like sometimes them dudes take a step back, man, and say, "You got them." Like you the message. I don't want them hearing me every day. I told them
yeah.
take the trash out. I don't need them hearing my basket. So it's just I want everybody to succeed all around. Like if you're around me, man, I come with good energy, good vibes. I'm a good person, so I'm always down to drop gems or it's dudes I call and ask for advice how to handle this situation or handle that. But that falls back in the I wasn't always like that, man, at all. Like I used to be just if it wasn't talking to Sam or my teammates, nah, I can't
Forget
talk
them.
to you.
Hey man, hey, they about to cut us
Pre-
off in like 30 seconds, but I just want to say
Appreciate
thank you for tapping in with us and sharing this knowledge, bro. For real, thank you.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm tapping in all episodes, man. So I
Appreciate that.
appreciate you, man. That's love.
All right, we gonna chop it up for sure.
Yep.
All right.